All right. Good evening, everyone. We're going to get started shortly. Thanks for being here tonight. We're really excited that you're here to learn more about the next steps regarding enrollment at Wichita State. So we'll get started soon. I think folks will probably have their cameras, or excuse me, their microphones muted as you enter, and we'll probably just kind of leave it that way. But we wanted to make sure we gave you an opportunity to see who we were, and then later, if you had questions, if you wanted to ask questions either through the chat or you could unmute even. We could consider that a little bit later. So in the meantime, we're really glad you're here. We're going to give just a few more seconds to let the room settle, and then we'll get going. We are recording
Hello.
this, by the way, and we will be able to send this recording to you all a little bit later as a follow-up in case there's something that we cover today that you want to make sure you are able to follow up on.
Still on it.
All right, I think we've got just about everyone in, and we'll probably have a few folks trickling in. But welcome to Next Steps with Wichita State. It's a great pleasure to have you here today. You're busy, I'm sure, wrapping up your senior year, trying to get things going as you wind down school. And so we're appreciative of your time and your attention tonight as we try to make sure we walk you through the steps of enrollment with Wichita State. Everyone who's on this event tonight has been admitted to attend for the fall semester or perhaps the summer. And so our goal is to make sure you're well aware of all of the next steps in the process, whether that is completing our freshman enrollment questionnaire, registering for orientation, answering any questions you may have about housing or financial aid. So we're really blessed to have with us tonight professionals from all those respective areas who will walk you through those respective steps. And ultimately, if you do have questions, we'll be able to try to get to some of those at the conclusion of our presentation. But we have folks monitoring the chat to try to help answer those as we go as well. So I'm really just here to serve as your MC. My name is Bobby. I'm Associate Vice President for Strategic Enrollment Management and Director of Admissions. And so really my goal is just to coordinate, run the presentation, and make sure that we are answering questions. So I'm really going to get us going here and kick it to my friend Amanda Duffy from our Office of Financial Aid to visit with you more about understanding your financial aid offer.
Thank you, Bobby. Hi, everyone. My name is Amanda Duffy, and I'm one of the advisors at Wichita State University. Tonight, we're going to talk about understanding your aid offer. And so we're going to go through your award letter together. Okay, so you all got that letter in the mail, and you're like, oh my goodness, that is a lot of information. But never fear, Amanda is here. So let's start at the very beginning. Besides the address, of course, let's skip down there. We're going to go through the cost of attendance. We'll start there. The cost of attendance is an estimated amount of a student's educational expenses for that academic year. And the main thing I want you guys to get out of this is it's estimated. This is not your actual cost to Wichita State. It's just the highest dollar amount that a student can receive during an award year, but it includes billable and non-billable costs that you might want to budget for your time during this academic year of fall 2025 and spring of 2026. So billable costs. Those are going to be on your billing statement. First and foremost, you're going to see tuition and fees. And if you're on campus, you're going to see housing and food. So that's what you will see on your billing statement. If you're on campus, for example, for housing and food. The non-billables, these will not appear on your billing statement. Books and supplies, personal expenses, and transportation. We're not going to be charging you for shampoo. We're not going to be charging you for gas and oil changes. However, it is something that we are required to do to include the estimated cost of what it could cost you to go to college as a whole entire concept for a whole year for those topics listed, including transportation and personal. You will not be charged for that. But we gave you an idea what to budget for. So there you go. The financial aid estimate down below in the chart is based on the results of your FAFSA application. And you do that at studentaid.gov if you haven't already. Then we will give you an overview of your scholarships, grants, loans, and potential employment, on-campus employment to help pay for college. And that gives you a grand total, which also includes loan opportunities. And so the last day to accept fall loans for the semester is December 9th. Now, these loans, we are not going to push them on you. It's going to be ultimately you and your family's decision if you want to take out those loans. So just rest assured, it's not a big deal. If you want them, great, we'll help you out with that. Okay, so the next section is net cost after financial aid. So to get your estimated net cost, what you're going to do is take your estimated cost billed by WSU. So remember, that is your tuition and fees, and if you're on campus, housing and food, minus your estimated financial aid. And that's how you get your estimated net cost. If that amount is negative, congratulations. You're going to, estimately speaking, get a refund from Wichita State University. However, if that number is positive, you might be owing Wichita State some money, so be prepared for that. I do want to make mention that tuition rates, those are typically finalized in mid-July because the Kansas Board of Regents makes that decision in June. So that's why we give you the budget estimated costs so that you can kind of figure out how you want to pay for college and kind of on those different categories, figure out how you're going to budget and save. But in July, you will know how much you will be charged for tuition and fees, and then the housing and food will be on your billing statement as well. And if you're receiving a tuition discount, those actual amounts will also be appearing on your billing statement in mid-July as well by the Accounts Receivables Office. They do that and the tuition and fees and housing with the help of housing. So that will all be on your billing statement mid-July. Okay, so we've covered very quickly the understanding your financial aid award letter, but we know that this may not have covered all your questions, which is why we included a QR code on your letter. And if you don't have the award letter in front of you, that's a-okay. I have also included the website that the QR code goes to. It's wichita.edu/understanding your aid. There you'll get an even further breakdown, more time allows, of the award letter itself, and you can peruse that all you want. And then if you have further questions beyond tonight and the website, please feel free to ask. We want this to make sense to you guys. It makes sense to us because I do this day in and day out. We understand that you guys don't live in the financial aid world that I do, but that's why you have us at your disposal to ask those questions, because no question is too great or too small. We want you to ask those questions. When you get your aid, we want you to review it and accept it or modify or decline. But to do that, we also included a QR code, and we also listed on this presentation the website, wichita.edu/mywsu. When you log into your MyWSU portal, what you need to do is on the right side, click the My Finances tab. Then it'll advance you to another web page. On the left side, there will be multiple square boxes. One of them will say Financial Aid Dashboard. Please click that one because that will allow you to access your financial aid that we've offered you. It'll advance you to another website. So it's like your portal within a portal for financial aid. Ooh, make it a little fancy for you guys. Then when you're in the offer tab, you will notice that there's estimated billable and non-billable costs. That's okay. That's just, again, a review for you to know, oh, billable, non-billables, cool, got it. Fully knowing that your actual costs will appear on your billing statement in mid-July. Again, this is just a way to budget and kind of plan accordingly until actuals come mid-July. So you scroll down past those billable and non-billables. That's okay. You can go back to it later. But what you want to know is, where's my award offer to review and accept? Just keep going. Then eventually you will see your aid offer there. For grants and scholarships, you will have two options: accept or decline. Just accept. It's free money, so why wouldn't you? Then in the loan section, this is completely up to you, like I already mentioned. However, I do want to clarify that with accepting your aid, what you do is you can either accept, modify, or decline your loans. Accept means you want all of the loans listed for that special loan, or for one or both loans. That's a-okay. Modify means that you want a loan, but you want to tell us in financial aid how much of that loan you want. Great. And decline means you don't want the loan at all. That's a-okay too. We'll take care of you from there. And then if you realize that you do owe some money to Wichita State, we've got you, and so does accounts receivable. Accounts receivable does offer a payment plan through them, through the university. So if you have more questions, please reach out to them. We mention it, but we're not the ones that manage that plan. So please reach out to them with any further questions. It can be done every semester too, FYI. Parent also has the option to do a loan if they so desire. Again, we don't push parents to do it, but it's an option. Parents and/or students could pursue also a private loan through a lender, such as even your own bank is possibility, or you can go through other lenders if you would like. Everyone knows Sally and Mae, but there's also so many more options to choose from. For example, Discover Loan, College Avenue Loan, so many more. So go out there, do some research if that's the route you want to take. But again, please research first before any of you sign on that dotted line. Outside scholarships are a great way to pay for college because guess what? That's free money, right? Everyone wants the free money, and that's the way you got to do it. You got to treat it like a part-time job, please. Apply for 1 to 2 a week, maybe. That'd be great if you can. Do what you can. If you can't do 1 to 2 a week, maybe just one. Maybe 1 week you do five, but 1 week you do one. That's okay. It all averages out. Also look at employers, whether it's your employer as a student or as the parent, see if your parent has tuition assistance, a scholarship, tuition reimbursement, or even a 529 savings plan. Though it's not listed there, it is also a great opportunity if you have grandparents or parents that have set one up for you. It would be a great opportunity to help pay for college. But we have the website listed there, wichita.edu/additional funding options, and you can go further into detail on each of those options I've mentioned tonight.
Or anything from FAFSA or anything?
Next, please. Okay, so I visually now have for you the steps on how to access your financial aid dashboard. So remember, if you go to wichita.edu/MyWSU, what I don't have is the My Finances tab, but what then the next step is a financial aid dashboard selected with the arrow on the left. And then remember, when you get to your financial aid dashboard, boom, this home screen pops up. It's on the right side. There it'll show you if we, our office, are missing any requirements for financial aid. Please respond to those by emailing us, calling us, stopping in, making an appointment to get those all cleared up and satisfied, because this could hold up your financial aid from being applied to your student account for the fall term. So it's imperative that any of those requirements that are in red versus green, please get those addressed as soon as possible so that way we can make sure that your financial aid package is ready to go come August. Okay, here's visually the breakdown of the dashboard on how you're going to then accept, modify, or decline the aid. The first screenshot shows the scholarship and the Shocker Promise Award. You can see that there's two options, accept or decline, in the take action column. For the loans, you're going to have the additional one, like I mentioned. Visually, you're going to see under the take action column, you're going to have accept, decline, or modify. So that's, you can do any of those. Remember though, the last date to accept the fall federal loans is December 9th, 2025. Ways you can get a hold of us. We are on social media. We are on Instagram and Facebook. We also are, you can contact us by phone 24/7 with the assistance of OneStop. You can also go to our website. We have a great amount of information on that website for you to review. If you don't have the answer to your question, well, give us a call, make an appointment. We're also in Jardine Hall in room 203. We're happy to help. And if you want to make an appointment, we are happy to help in that regard. Just visit wichita.edu/FinAid appointment. We do phone, we do Zoom, Teams, and in person. So whatever mode of appointment you want, we can help you. We even help with FAFSA completions too. So you feel like down the road you just want a little bit extra help on that FAFSA, or you need some help with a scholarship question, or anything else underneath the sun financial aid related, you know where to contact us. It's right here. But if you ever need us, we're always a phone call, appointment, or social media post away. Thank you, guys.
All right, Amanda, thanks so much. There were just a couple of questions that came in on the chat, one of which
Sure.
I answered, but one I think you'd certainly be more qualified to answer than me. Jennifer asked, how long after completing the FAFSA form will it take for me to receive an award letter? I just completed mine today.
Great question, and congratulations on filling out your FAFSA. So what's going to happen is in about 2 days, we will get your FAFSA back from Department of Education. It does take us a week or two, depending on our packaging time frame. We're packaging about a couple weeks at a time. So it's just going to be a timing concern, but it's not concern for you to worry about. But we will get your award letter as soon as possible once we run the next packaging process in our timeline. So I would say in less than a month, you would get an award letter, if not sooner. I would be hoping around about 2 weeks time frame.
Great. Thanks, Amanda. And
You're
then
welcome.
Chris asked, but I answered in the chat, but maybe just for everyone's benefit. In the fall, will we need to pay the remaining costs for the year or just the fall semester?
You will just pay the remaining costs for the fall semester because accounts receivable only post charges a semester at a time. So please do not worry about having to come up with the spring portion yet. Just have that in the back of your mind to plan for that. But WSU is only going to want you to kind of figure out how you're going to pay the remaining balance for that semester coming up, which in this case be the fall term.
Great. All right, Amanda, I don't see any other chats coming through for now. So if you'll just stand by, if you don't mind, we'll get
Yep,
to some of our other speakers. Thanks for being here, Amanda.
you're welcome.
All right, next up, I'm going to pass to my friend Faith from Housing. And our fonts came in a little wonky, so apologize that some of the text may not come through properly, but it won't hurt the quality of the presentation from Faith, I know. So I'm going to pass it to Faith and ask her to cover her slides. Did Faith get booted out? I see
Oh
her.
no, I'm right here. Sorry, I forgot to hit unmute.
No problem.
Yeah, so I'm Faith. I'm with Housing, and I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about housing and what we have to offer, and also if you haven't applied, how you can do so. So just housing at a glance, we have over 1,400 residents within the three communities that we offer because there are 17,000 students on campus, but only 1,400 of those live on campus. And then we have 40 student staff members. That's our RAs and our RLCs and so on and so forth. And then our 30 full-time staff members like myself. And you can go to the next slide. If you haven't decided to live on campus, these are a couple of reasons why you should live on campus. Academic performance, there are a lot of good reasons, good groups and mentorship opportunities to happen when you live on campus, and also convenience because you're more than likely not late to class if you live on campus, and it helps you to manage your time. And then also you can make friends with people who like other things that you do, and you can live on the same floor as people within your college. And there's also a diverse community. You get to meet people who don't probably live with different ethnicities or from other places around the world. And also safety and security. We have 24/7 desk support and stuff like that. You can head to the next slide. Where Shockers live, if you don't already know, we have Shocker Hall, which is our first year student only. It was built in 2014, which is the oldest residence hall that we have. It has 800 bed spaces, 1 or 2 bathrooms, so no communal bathrooms, and we do have communal laundry, but it is free. And like I said, we have front desks open 24/7, and then we have the living learning communities that are located in Shocker Hall. You can head to the next one. And then if you haven't decided what room layout you have, these are probably our 2 most popular ones. So the first one is our double 2, so that you share the bathroom with the people with the suite on the suite next to you, but you do get your own sink, and then you only have 1 roommate. And then the other single 4 is that you have a common area with 3 other people, and you have your own bedroom, and you have 2 private bathrooms. You can head to the next slide. And then where the Shockers live as well is that first year students also live in the suites, which is a little bit of a bigger living situation. So you do get a kitchenette and you do get in suite washer and dryer. And this is still free. And then the beds are full size and not twin. And then this also has 24/7 desk desk support as well. This is for upperclassmen only, so I'm only going to touch on it a little bit, but there is the flats, which is an apartment style living that you can live once you're a junior or a senior. The living learning communities, if you haven't chose to live in a living learning community, there are a bunch of reasons why you probably should or get an idea. So it is a extra $30 for the academic year, but it's $15 per semester, and you do get a lot of opportunities with this. People who live in a living learning community typically graduate at a higher rate and a higher GPA, and your RA on that floor is also part of your school, and then you get a lot of mentorship. You get to talk to people, professors within your college. There's network opportunities, and it's exclusive events for people who are in LLC as well. You can head to the next slide. And then where the Shockers eat, the Shocker Dining Hall, the Ground House, the Student Center, and Shocker Grill and Lanes are all probably the biggest places to eat. Shocker Dining Hall is connected to Shocker Hall, which is like your typical dining hall. It's all you can eat. And then the Ground House is like a convenience store. You can get coffee and grab and go items. And then the Student Center houses Starbucks, Panda Express, Freddy's, and Chick-fil-A. And the Shocker Grill and Lanes is like a fun place to get burgers and stuff, and also do bowling with your friends. And then what Shockers do, if you haven't thought about it yet, you might want to consider like getting into like a group like of people with similar interests as you. Intramural sports is really fun. Your RAs do plan floor events to get people connected. There's also resident hall-wide events. And then living learning communities is also a great one. And then student organizations. And then probably the most important one of the what I'm supposed to talk about today is that the application is already live, and it's where people are choosing their rooms to already. So if you haven't applied, it's really important that you do so. It is a $75 application fee, and a $200 prepayment is due in order to get it put into the housing portal, to be put in line to choose your bedroom. And you should find your roommates. You can find them you can find them within Zeme, which is a really popular one, or you can even join maybe like a Facebook group looking for a specific one. Or if you haven't been on campus yet, if you're doing a tour or orientation, you can also find your roommate there as well. So yeah, room selection has begun. So I would just keep an eye out in your email for any important information that if you feel like you haven't received it yet. Oh, Bobby, you're muted. I'm sorry.
Okay, sorry, I'm browsing my screen here. I was just saying, Lily asked a good question. I just thought I'd ask you while you're still speaking. How do I find out what room I have and who my roommate is? Can you point students in the direction for that?
Yeah, Lila, if you haven't received an email on how to choose your room, so like we've just started room selection just here this week. So if you've chosen your room, that then you should know what your room is. Otherwise, you should access your housing portal like the way you applied for housing. I would go in there and see if you have a time slot in which you can go and choose your room. And then also, if you want to pick your roommate, you're more than welcome to drag them into your group, or you may get randomly selected to be in a room with other people if you haven't decided yet. Does that kind of answer your question? You should be getting important information in your email. I would just keep an eye out on the email that you put in when you applied for housing.
Serenity asks, if I want a private room, is that possible as a freshman?
It really depends. So there isn't like we typically reserve like one bedroom singles for people who have like disabilities or who really need them. Otherwise, like I showed before, like the 4-bedroom suite where you get your own private bedroom, but you still kind of share the common area with 3 other people is probably your most common. I will say the more private the room, the more expensive it gets. So keep that in mind as well. But having like an apartment or like a suite to yourself is very not so common.
Bonnie asks, my renter's insurance company was asking about safety and sprinkler systems. Is there information available to help answer those questions?
Yes, I would visit our housing website, and if we have like an FAQ page, and we do have like a safety and security page, I believe as well. And if you don't see the information that you're looking for, we do have an email all over. I believe it'll be on the next slide here as well, the email, and then also on our website um, to ask any and all important questions that you need.
We've got a lot of housing questions. I'll just do a couple more here.
Yeah.
If my roommate already selected her room, do I need to worry about selecting a room now?
So if your roommate selected the room, they should have drug you into their room with you, like selected you and put you in there with them, and then you don't really have to worry about it. But if they haven't done so, I would ask them to go back and do that. Otherwise, you might have it just a little bit more complicated if they didn't do that. So I would talk to them.
Jaden asks, what happens if you can't find a roommate?
So, if you can't find a roommate, but you really kind of want to know who you are living with before you move in, I would definitely download the app Zeme, which so for college students, we have a lot of different pages at WSU to find roommates. You can definitely just put a little bit about yourself and say, hey, I'm looking for this roommate, this many roommates, whatever kind of information you want to give. And a lot of people will respond on there. Also, like I said, you can probably join like WSU Facebook groups and ask on there as well. And then if you visit campus, it's a really good opportunity to connect with other students. Other, yeah.
Faith, I don't know if you can speak to when move-in date is. Do you know that date off the top of your head?
I want to say it starts like August 9th. It kind of lasts for like a whole week, like August 9th, because we have like a Camden conference ends, and then like the next week is when you guys move in. So I definitely want to say August, early August.
And Faith, are students assigned this particular day to move in?
Not necessarily. I think we do have like a grand like move-in day. So like Woo Shock will be there. We have like lots of fun things happening one specific day, but you can move in like the whole week before classes start.
Just to clarify, I was just on the website for that. It's Saturday, August 10th, and Sunday, August 11th. Or
Thank
move.
you.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you. And then maybe this will be the last one before we move on. There's a lot of questions, and we'll try to come back to some of these housing ones, but this one might apply to others. How can I get exempt from living on campus? And so maybe before Faith answers, just to clarify, if students are living in or from Sedgwick County or the greater Sedgwick County area, so the surrounding counties, you are automatically exempt from living on campus. We really try to prioritize students from out of the area in terms of our dorm space, but perhaps for students who are from outside the area and feel that they might need to qualify for an exemption, Faith, what can they do?
Yeah, so if you live outside of the Wichita area, like Bobby said, but you don't feel like you really want to or need to live on campus, a couple of ways that you can is if you have a family member live in town, like an aunt or uncle. It can't be like your sister, unfortunately, but it can be an aunt or uncle. You can give them that you can live with them, and they can you can be exempt if you're over a certain age. You can be exempt, so you have to be like over 20 years old. You can be exempt from living on campus. Those are just like two really big ones off the top of my head. But I do believe that if you head to the housing website, we have an exemption list of ways that if you don't live in the Wichita area on how you can become exempt.
Great. Okay, thank you, Faith, for joining us. If you don't mind sticking around, there are several questions in the chat, Faith. If you don't mind just taking a look at those and trying to answer them as we're talking here. I am going to move forward to our next presenter. I'm going to skip forward just a little bit. I think my friend Erin is on from the Office of First Year Programs and Student Success and Orientation. See if he reveals himself here somewhere in my Zoom panel.
Here I am, Bobby.
My man. All right. I'm going to I'm going to pass it over to you, and I'll be happy to advance your slides.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Bobby. Well, good evening, everyone. And again, as I'm sure you all have heard this a lot this evening, congratulations on being admitted to WSU. And I especially am very excited to see you all at orientation. So my name is Aidan. I'm the Assistant Director of Student Success leading our first year programs team. So all of you will be spending some fun time with me in the summer for orientation. So let's talk about it. Next slide, Bobby. Alrighty, so freshman orientation. So I will walk you through the process of how to actually RSVP today, but just some general information about orientation at WSU. So freshman orientation, we have programs that occur from June 6th all the way to August 14th. So first week of June, basically until the week before the first day of classes. And two kind of special things happen here at orientation. So one, I'll touch a little bit about what you all will be doing as students at orientation. So one, you've already been introduced to some shocker traditions, so we'll try to hone in a little bit more on those. We'll talk about the success teams we have here at Wichita State that are here and ready to support you. So a dedicated group of professionals we have on our campus that are ready to support you from day one. So you'll spend a good hour at orientation meeting all of those good folks. I think you hear about this here in a moment, but you'll also spend an hour with your first year advisors or learning through important deadlines in the fall semester, things to keep in mind in your first semester here at WSU. How to get involved. So we'll have a little student engagement and belonging fair happening near the end of orientation, and also get introduced to some great shocker technology. So things like Blackboard, which you'll be spending a lot of times in as students, and also a really great app called Navigate 360, which I won't bore you all too much around now since I'll be touching on that at orientation. So orientation is special not only for y'all as students, but it's also important for your parents and supporters. Over you also, if you, parents supporters on the call. We also do have a parent and guest track that happens at each of our freshman orientation programs. So not only is this an experience for you as a student, but it's also an experience for your parents and supporters. So we are also open to taking guests. And it's important to note that they will have a separate schedule than US students. So your whole orientation experience is with other new students. Whereas your parents supporters will spend some time building some community and learning about our Sharker family program. So two options there. It's either both, like I said, for your students, for you all, and also for your parents and supporters. One more thing I want to shout out really quickly is that we do have our Spanish family program. So if you or know someone that would benefit from a Spanish family orientation, so an orientation for parents and supporters that would be solely in Spanish. We do have programs like that occurring over the summer at freshman orientation on our June 13th and July 25th date. So just an extra plug there if you think you or your family or someone you know would benefit from the sessions being purely in Spanish. That is a great option for you all to consider. Next slide, Bob. Alrighty, so hopefully everyone here has already signed up for orientation, but if you have not, I recommend that you all pull out your phones, your laptops, and let's get that going today. So first things first, you'll want to go to wichita.edu/orientation, and it should take you to this lovely picture with a lot of my favorite student leaders on our campus. I think the link might be dropped in the chat. So first thing we'll do is to click sign up for orientation. Next slide, Bobby. Alrighty, from there, Bobby, correct me if I'm wrong, we are all freshmen, all new incoming students, no transfer adult learners here.
Correct.
Perfect. So all of you will be incoming first year students. So you want to click on where it says freshman. Next slide, Bobby. All right, they'll take you to this nice little screen congratulating once again on your admittance to Wichita State University. So from there, you want to scroll down on your page and you will see a link that says sign up for orientation. So you want to go ahead and click there next. So one thing to note on this page that you're on right now, so after you go to wichita.edu/orientation and after you go and click on freshman, right below the screen where you can actually sign up for orientation, there's going to be some additional information regarding freshman orientation. So if you're curious about, what are my orientation fees going towards, what all dates are available, what does my schedule look like at a glance from a student perspective versus a parent guest perspective, those are also outlined there. If you're curious to see what the Spanish Family Orientation Program is about, that's also there. And if you have any additional questions about accessibility or accommodations, we also have a few notes there. So that is on the same page that you click onto RSVP. So if you just scroll a little bit downwards, a lot of that great information is there if you ever need to refer to it. Next slide, Bobby. So, okay, perfect. So we click on the sign up for orientation. So after a dual login, it's going to take you to this lovely screen here. And from there, we'll click on the next screen. You want to fill out. So first thing on this page, and I'm sure OneStop and the first year advising team will touch on this. It's deeply important that before you actually RSVP for orientation, this screen is going to pop up for y'all, and it's going to ask y'all major and your chosen major. And it's deeply important that before you move forward in this process, that if that is not your intended major, that you go through the official process on how to change your major, which would be I'm sure OneStop will be talking more about it, but you would email major change at wichita.edu. It's helpful to include your ID number there as well as your actual intended major. And it's really important that we do this because it's really important that at orientation, you do spend a significant amount of time with your specific academic college and your academic areas of interest. So it's important for us that you're attending orientation and being in the right sessions that you need to be in. So once you've confirmed that that is your correct major, you want to click acknowledge. Next screen, Bobby. And from here, emergency contact information is really important. We never know when we might need to make a phone call. So we'll ask you for some emergency contact information. And next page, Bobby. And lastly, the big screen here. This is where you actually have a chance to actually choose the orientation date that you're interested in attending in. There's no major benefit from attending the first session versus attending the last program. But it is deeply important that you do sign up for an orientation that you know will work for your schedule. So if you know you are an out-of-state student and you likely will not be in Wichita or around the area until August, sign up for an August session. That's perfect, and there's nothing wrong with that. So all of the sessions are the same in terms of the program structure and the experience that you'll receive. So please choose a date that you know will work for you and your parents and supporters if they choose to come with you to orientation. Lost my screen there. Oh, perfect. So we'll also ask you some additional questions. So we'll ask, how many guests do you want to be coming with you? Again, it's not mandatory that parents and supporters come, but we do love to have them here on our campus. So you'll fill out their information if you do indicate that you have one or two more. Have a question about if we're able to use pictures from orientation in our websites. And also your preferred first name for your name tag. So if that's something that is different from your admission application, that's a space that you can put your preferred name there as well. And once you click continue, you won't see a screen here technically on mine, but if you all do it, you will get a confirmation screen and you will get a confirmation email shortly after RSVPing. So you will get something within 24 hours indicating that, yes, you did sign up for orientation and to stay tuned for more information. Next slide, Bobby. All right, perfect. So we talked a lot about freshman orientation. So again, step one is the RSVP for freshman orientation and complete that enrollment questionnaire with our first year advising folks. We'll talk a little bit more about. Step two, so for those of y'all who have already RSVP'd and will be RSVPing in the next week, you all will be automatically enrolled to something that's called our online pre-orientation modules. You'll be receiving an email to your Shocker email. And what these pre-orientation modules are, it's supposed to be a quick introduction to what you're going to experience at orientation so that you don't come to orientation, a little blind on what all may be happening. So our goal here is that we're introducing you to some ideas and some concepts so that you can really apply them by the time that you're on our campus for your chosen orientation date. And it's important that you do complete these 2 days prior to your chosen orientation date. We're not going to kick you out if you don't have them done at orientation. That's perfectly fine. But it is important that you do it beforehand, so you do have a better overall experience once you are on our campus. So even if you don't meet those 2 days, that's perfectly fine. Please still come to campus. We're excited to see you here for orientation. And like I said, these go live on May 1st. So if you RSVP'd by May 1st, you will be receiving an email on that date. If not, if you RSVP after the May 1st date, just stay tuned and look at your Shocker email. We are uploading students into the pre-orientation modules on a daily basis. So just look out for an email from first period year at wichita.edu. So step 1, RSVP for orientation, do the enrollment questionnaire. Step 2, complete the pro-orientation modules. And step 3, just be sure to come to freshman orientation. If you do all of those things, I can guarantee your success here at WSU. So next slide, Bobby. And some other FAQs. So is freshman orientation required? Yes. All of our first year freshman students must check in and check out of the program to gain credit for orientation. Is my parent and guest required to attend freshman orientation? No, but we highly encourage it. Like I said, we love having our Shocker families on our campus. So if they're at all interested in learning more about your transition process, their transition process as parents and supporters, learning about the support systems that are in place not only for you, but also for them as Shocker parents and supporters. And also learn a little bit how to stay connected year round. That's, again, why we really want you all to be here for freshman orientation. And some common questions too. What happens if I need to change my orientation date? Maybe you chose a date that ultimately doesn't work for you. Perfectly fine, happens all the time. You can either give us a call at 316-978-5420 or email us at firstperiodyear@wichita.edu. And again, if you have any questions related to anything regarding orientation, please, those are two good ways of contacting our office to make sure that you are getting all the help that you need to get started for the summer. Next slide, Bobby. Oh, that's the end of my slide. I think I may have some questions in the chat.
You do. I'll feed them to you if that's all right.
Yeah, that's right.
One of them you already answered. Jaden was asking about changing their orientation date. You've already covered that. Another individual, Bonnie, I believe, asked about the orientation fee and if you can just explain that to them.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have fees for orientation, and they vary depending on if you are the student yourself or if it's your parent, your guest, or supporter that's coming with you. So our freshman orientation fees are a $150 non-refundable fee. This is not something you need to have paid before orientation or at orientation. It's something that's applied to your fall billing. So this will be automatically applied to your fall bill. So there's no need to come in with a check or debit card or anything like that. We won't be processing any kind of transactions at orientation. In terms of what those fees actually go into, so it goes not into all the goodies that you'll get throughout the day, as well as your meal for the day. And staffing from our orientation leaders. It also goes through programming that's specifically for first-year students throughout their first year here at WCU. So a lot of campus traditions such as Clash of Colleges, our syllabus parties, first-gen programming, our Winter Welcome. So that's all tied to the freshman student fee. For an additional guest or supporter to come with you at orientation would be an additional $30. And those $30, again, go towards the actual meal of the day. Your parents and supporters will get some goodie bags, some tote bags, and a lot of other great things throughout the program. So it kind of supports efforts year long. It's not just only for orientation kind of fee, if that makes sense.
Thank you for that. Morgan asks, how do I access the pre-orientation modules?
Great question. So as of now, the pre-orientation modules are not live. They'll be going live on May 1st. So you'll receive instructions on exactly how to do that in your Shocker email. So past the May 1st date, if you have not RSVP'd yet for orientation, just know that if you have RSVP'd now, you'll get an email on May 1st on instructions on how to access the pre-orientation modules. Long story short, it's just found within your student Blackboard. And if you sign up after the May 1st date, you will receive an email similarly, if not the same day that you RSVP orientation, if not the next day. So I would just say stay on the lookout and please be checking your Shocker email.
Great. And maybe the last question before we pass to Kylie, Tavian asks if we forget when our orientation date is there a way to find that out?
Yeah, absolutely. The easiest way to just give us a call and we'd be able to let you know what your chosen orientation date is. Call or email would be the easiest. And if you had already RSVP'd for orientation, you can also, like I said, you will get an automated email confirming your orientation date. So if you, for some reason, don't see it in your shocker email, you can always give us a call or send us an email.
Great. All right, if you don't mind sticking around for just a little bit, we're going to pass to Kylie, give her an opportunity to talk about our enrollment questionnaire and make sure that we cover that. So Kylie, I think, oh, got to go backwards, sorry.
Think about
Let me do that. There we go.
Okay. Well, good evening, everybody. My name is Kylie Johnson. I'm the assistant director here in OneStop Student Services office, and I'm just kind of going to walk you through kind of the enrollment process for incoming freshmen because it is different a little bit. I do want to address one quick question in the chat just for clarification, because my understanding is all the students on this call are admitted incoming high school, coming to us straight from high school to college. There was a question about transfer in terms of transfer coursework. So a lot of students, I'll talk about that here in just a minute, but even though you may be transferring in coursework to Wichita State, you're still considered an incoming freshman student unless you're admitted initially as a transfer student. So again, I do just want to clarify that the process with the orientation for RSVP. The nice thing is the system will recognize when you sign in an RSVP for orientation if you're an incoming high school senior or transfer. So I just want to clarify, even though a lot of students are transferring coursework in, if you were just graduating from high school, spring of 2025, you're still considered an incoming freshman. So sorry, just wanted to clarify. I saw that in the chat, so I thought I'd just clarify real quick. So again, Kylie Johnson, OneStop. I do just like to first explain what OneStop is. So that's usually the next question I get when I introduce myself is, what is OneStop? And we are truly in the name. We are one place where students can go to get questions answered about multiple areas across campus. Admissions, advising, financial aid, student records, parking, registration, all of that. Instead of getting bounced around from place to place, we can assist you with a lot of those general incoming questions that many, many students have. And that's another reason why you meet all of my team in OneStop are trained in all these different areas across campus. So that's why you're first meeting with a first year advisor versus the college advising centers initially, is because all of them are trained to assist you not just with understanding your degree requirements, what your degree plan looks like, all of that, but they also teach you all of the other business aspects of college. So understanding the FAFSA application, what is a master promissory note? How do I submit it? What are my next steps? How do I view my aid? All of when is a payment plan due? What are my options, repayment, all of that. So again, the idea is you work with us throughout that first year because we assist you in not just advising, but understanding all those other pieces. So you have a solid foundation when you transition into that sophomore year on until graduation. So that's why, again, you meet with a first year advisor within the OneStop Student Services. Slide, sorry. Okay, so I want to talk about enrollment and how to get the ball rolling in terms of registration for the fall semester. Like Aaron said, the first step is to RSVP for orientation. So once you have filled out their portion of the RSVP for orientation, the next thing that will pop up tied to that orientation is what we call your enrollment questionnaire. So that enrollment questionnaire is very, very, very detailed. We please strongly recommend that you read through everything because there are specific instructions we are asking students to either provide documentation, things like that. I'll talk about that here in just a second, but please make sure to fully read through any notes or clarifications on that enrollment questionnaire. It should take you about 20 to 30 minutes to fill out. So again, allow yourself plenty of time to be able to answer those questions accurately. And what that does is it's very detailed with regards to if you took college courses in high school, if so, what courses, where did you take them? AP, we may request ACT score. I mean, class preferences, days of the week, timeframes, gen ed question. I mean, again, very, very, very detailed based off your specific major. So again, please make sure you read through all of the directives because I would say once that enrollment questionnaire is completed, the most important thing, and you've heard it a couple times throughout this evening, is checking your shocker email. Because I would say 9 times out of 10, my first year advisors need either a response from you for clarification or some sort of documentation, whether that's college coursework, sending unofficial transcripts so that we can see what you've completed up until this point, and how that, so we can complete a transcript evaluation and see how those courses transfer into Wichita State, ACT scores, AP scores. I mean, there's a lot of documentation we may need from you. So the most important thing once you complete that enrollment questionnaire is to be monitoring that shocker email. So we will ask you if there's any documentation based off your responses on the enrollment questionnaire and or your degree requirements. We will be reaching out to you with any, again, documentation or any information clarification we need from you. What happens is once we receive the documentation that we need, the nice thing is, and sorry, I forgot to start, this process started March 1 and goes through the end of July. So you guys really, as incoming freshmen, get priority enrollment initially. And so if you haven't already RSVP'd for orientation, please, please, please go ahead and do that as soon as possible, because registration opened for the remainder of campus a couple weeks ago. So we want to make sure that we can get you your preferences in terms of your required classes and the designated times and dates that you would prefer. So please make sure to get that orientation RSVP and questionnaire completed. But what will happen is once that is received and the documentation and or questions are received from our first year advisors, is we will actually build your fall schedule for you. So again, all of my first year advisors are trained like all of the college advisors when it comes to your degree requirements. And so what'll happen is they will build that initial fall schedule for you. Once that schedule is built, you're going to get an email to that Shocker email account with instructions on how to view that schedule through your MyWSU portal. Okay. You'll have the opportunity to go in, look at the classes, days, times, instructors, everything. And students have the option to click a button that says accept, looks good, or they can request changes. If you have questions or need clarification or whatever it may be, you can request changes. Tell us what questions you have or changes you would like to make. Those responses will then go back to my first year advisors, and they will be reaching out to either clarify those questions and or if for some reason we need to schedule an appointment to kind of talk through things, we will obviously reach out to you guys if you request changes. Also, as a part of that enrollment questionnaire, there will be a question that asks, would you like to speak with your first year advisor before we build your initial schedule? You can mark yes, and the first year advisor will reach out to you to clarify and or questions, whatever it may be. So again, just mark yes on that question and how you would like to be contacted. But again, you can, once that initial schedule is built, you have the option to accept it and you're good to go. And we'll see you at orientation at our first year advising session, or you can request changes. And then our advisors, depending upon what questions you have or clarifications, work with you to kind of firm up and finalize that schedule. I do want to point out a really important piece is once an initial schedule is built for students, you have 10 business days to either accept or request changes. 10 business after that 10 business day mark, if none of those or neither of those two things are completed, you will be withdrawn from that initial schedule and we have to start the process over again. So again, if you have questions or need further clarification, please, please, please just make sure to request changes. Tell us so that we can kind of save that initial schedule and then we can tweak with what we need to do. So I just want to remind students 10 business days once that initial schedule is built. And again, those notifications are going to go to that Shocker email. So please, please, please make sure you're monitoring that. You're going to hear that a couple times from me as well as others this evening. So I will go ahead and jump into the next slide real quick. I do just want to show you who all will be reaching out to you. So these are all of our first year advisors. So we have Kelsey Abendroth for the College of Applied Studies. We have Michelle Turnez for the Barton School of Business. For engineering, we have Constantine Cartelos and Monica Bergkamp, and we do an alpha split by the first letter of your last name. And then same thing with the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences. So Ellie Ortega, last name A through L, Kendra Brooks, M through Z. And then we have Raven Garrison, Health Professions, and then Ellen Sudarshan for the College of Fine Arts. So,
I don't know where the chat is.
So once that enrollment questionnaire is received, chances are you'll be seeing an email communication from your first year advisor. Again, just please be sure that you're monitoring that once that enrollment questionnaire is completed. So, sorry. So again, feel free to contact us. We are very, very excited. We have moved into the brand new Shocker Success Center on the first floor on campus, and just love our space. It's a wonderful spot for students to hang out. Welcoming all of our student services offices are located in this building, which makes it great to be able to have us all in one place. I provided our contact information as well as a QR code as well. But again, once that enrollment questionnaire is completed, chances are you're going to probably have an email from your first year advisor with either questions or clarifications before we start the process of registration in that fall semester. And I'm assuming I have questions because I saw the chat.
Okay. Yes,
Yeah.
guys, you do.
Yes.
One question was, how will I know if any or all of my college credits transferred? I have roughly 45 credit hours at the end of my senior year of high school.
Yep, 1000%. So I think the first thing of that, anything you take for college credit is going to count towards your total number of credit hours. So that's something, excuse me, that's something to keep in mind. Now, in terms of how they potentially apply to your specific degree requirements and or general education requirements will differ based off the major. So anything you take for college credit will count towards, but it depends on your degree requirements, which again is why we require and will request unofficial transcripts from you to verify how everything transfers in towards your specific major. And Erhan mentioned this earlier. This is why it's so important to confirm your major before you start the RSVP for orientation and complete that enrollment questionnaire, because we want to make sure that your major that is currently listed goes to the appropriate first year advisor. So again, we do that transcript evaluation when that enrollment questionnaire and unofficial transcripts are received. So that is a part of our process. If you have specific questions, another thing is obviously mark yes to that question of speaking with your advisor, but also I would strongly encourage each and every one of you, if you haven't already, to go to your major or your degree program's website at wichita.edu/majors, because obviously we're here as advisors to assist you and kind of walk you through this first year, but we really want students to take ownership and kind of understand and know what their degree requirements are. So again, I think that's another piece as you kind of start in that, get the ball rolling in terms of registration, is knowing what your degree requirements are. We can complete the piece of how your courses that you've taken transferred towards those degree requirements, but we want you to really know what they are. So I would say, again, just being aware of what those requirements are. Again, monitoring that Shocker email, because we're going to require or request unofficial transcripts for our advising purposes for fall registration. So for your fall, unofficials will work, screenshots from your computer or phone will work for our advising purposes. But please note, you all will, if you have completed college coursework, eventually you have to send and pay for those official transcripts to be sent. But you don't have to wait for those officials to start the ball rolling in terms of getting an unofficial copy to your first year advisor. Sorry, that was long-winded, Bobby. Other questions?
Alexis asks, what if I haven't decided on my major yet?
Yeah, so if you haven't decided on your major, there is, again, if you're undecided within a specific academic college, like undecided business, undecided health professions, undecided applied studies, I would recommend selecting that major prior to completing the enrollment questionnaire, or LAS undecided. If you fully don't know if, like, you're all over the map, which I understand completely. Being LAS, liberal arts and sciences undecided, is also a great choice as well, because if we have a ballpark of, you want to do health professions or business or whatever, but you just don't know with what within that particular college, at least we can kind of we'll reach out to you with regards, we'll ask you, okay, what majors are you thinking of within business or LAS or health professions, so that our advisors can potentially look at overlap between the degrees that you're considering. So again, the only college that does not have undecided as a college undecided major, I believe, is fine arts. I think that's the only one that has that does not have an undecided major because it's very specific with regards to fine arts. But again, at any time, feel free to just mark that question at the bottom if you'd like to speak with an advisor. But I would say, in terms of prior to completing that enrollment questionnaire, if you're fully undecided, LAS undecided is a great major to go ahead and update to till we can kind of walk you through all the different options. But also, if you know what college or realm you want to be in, selecting either business undecided, health professions undecided, applied studies undecided, so and so forth.
Okay, great. Cindy's asking, can I get the link to find out what credits will apply to my major? Maybe someone can drop that into the chat. And then you covered this, Kylie, but maybe just to reiterate, how do you submit unofficial transcripts?
So yeah, again, we will send on the enrollment questionnaire, again, you will get instructions on where to send those unofficial transcripts. So it's going to be our one-stop email. So please pay attention when you're filling out that portion of the questionnaire. It gives you exactly verbatim to list the college coursework, where you took it, the grade, the course information, everything. But we also provide you with instructions on how to send those unofficials from the beginning. So if you have access to those unofficials and can send it prior to, follow those instructions, because that means that unofficial transcript will already be to your first year advisor before you even probably fully complete the questionnaire. So again, please pay attention and read through the instructions, especially when it comes to sending those unofficial transcripts. If not, I mean, you will receive an email from your first year advisor requesting those unofficially so that we can see. There's the wichita.edu/transfer guides and/or transfer website. But I think the biggest thing is just to go ahead and send us those unofficials. And then once we can do a full transcript evaluation, we can tell you, because it really depends on the major, what your requirements are, what you completed. So it's not a blanket necessarily. It depends on your degree requirements, what you're transferring in, how it applies to your degree. So again, I think it's just important to read through the instructions on the enrollment questionnaire, get those unofficials sent if you can prior to the it's just OneStop at wichita.edu email. And again, those instructions will be on the enrollment questionnaire.
Okay. I don't know if you can answer this question. It's kind of a broad question. Bonnie is asking, is there a way to set up notifications to an external email or text to phone from all WSU portals? I found portals with messages to me, and I didn't know that the messages were waiting for me. You know the answer to that one.
Well, I will say for our process, we send to both Shocker and your preferred email that you have on file. Now, the thing to keep in mind, if you guys have a high school email account as your preferred email on your admissions application, chances are those are going to be deactivated once you graduate. So I'd strongly encourage you to create like a college email, maybe update that. Because if you're not checking that once it's deactivated, it gets a little tricky. But everything in terms of our email communication of requesting documents, things like that, will go to both Shocker and your preferred email. I can't specifically attest to other campus-wide communication and where that goes, but I think, again, the biggest thing is the Shocker email. I do know that you can get it on Office 3. You can download the Office 365 app on your phone, and you can log in that way to access your Shocker email and turn on the notifications that way. But I can only attest to our, and I know a lot of the communications go to the Shocker email for a lot of folks across campus, that you can, again, Office 365, download the app, and you can sign in that way and just notify alerts on your cell phone.
Bonnie says, thank you.
Yeah.
Sarah asks, I'm currently business undecided, like to change that. How do I go about doing that?
Yeah, so again, if you haven't completed the enrollment or the RSVP for orientation, you'll be asked to go ahead and update that before you complete it. So again, like everyone said, you'll walk through, it'll say, this is your current major. If this is not correct, please pause. Do not complete the enrollment questionnaire. and then go ahead and go through the process of updating your major. And then you can go back in to the RSVP for orientation and complete the enrollment questionnaire. If you have already completed the enrollment questionnaire, all you would need to do is notify your first year advisor. And again, I think Bobby's going to provide you all with the slides and how to contact us and or your first year advisor. But I think the biggest thing is that's why we ask you guys at the beginning of that RSVP for orientation, is this the major that you're pursuing? If not, let's update it, because there are very major specific questions that we ask certain majors. So if you are undecided, we're asking 3 or 4 questions about the different areas you're considering, X, Y, or Z. If you're engineering, we're asking 6 or 7 questions about comfort level in chemistry, so that's why the major is very important prior to completing that enrollment questionnaire. But if you've already done it, totally fine. Please reach out to us. We're happy to connect you with the first year advisor, your assigned first year advisor of what you're wanting to update to, and we can walk you through that process.
Okay, I think we've covered most of the questions that I'm seeing here. I'm putting in the link for the updating your major and those questions that Kylie just referenced. So I just put that in the chat in the response. I think we've covered a large number, if not most, of the questions. I'm going to jog back through here and see if I see any others that we can answer more broadly. At least one person asked me directly for some additional help on working their way through the portals and through some of our processes here. And my best recommendation on that is to just reach out to us directly in the admissions office, and we'll get you plugged into the right folks who can help you. And that might even include an admission staff member helping you with that process. If you want to set up an appointment for that, we're happy to do that virtually or in person. A good place to start with that is admissions@wichita.edu. Just email us admissions@wichita.edu. Let's see. Let's see if there's other questions I can try to help get to here. Actually, I think we've covered just about everything. Any final questions? We're just a little past 8, so we appreciate everyone sticking with us.
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead, Alexis.
Do you have to have a meal plan your first year?
For students who, sorry, I can let Faith answer this. Sorry, I shouldn't just take it.
Yes, so if you live on campus, you do have to have a meal plan.
And then
you don't have.
Go ahead, Faith.
You don't have to. Like, you could choose what kind of meal plan you want, but you do have to have a meal plan, depending on how much you want to spend.
And to be clear, the first year students living on campus, they will have to buy the unlimited meal plan, but there are some variations within unlimited. And then students who are in upper class status have to buy a meal plan, but they don't necessarily have to buy the unlimited meal plan.
Correct.
Okay. I think we have covered it. Oh, sorry. There's Amanda just mentioned if for financial aid questions, encourage you to set up an appointment, wichita.edu/financial FinAid appointment, APPT. And then Sanaya asks, after we RSVP for orientation, will we be able to review courses? Kylie, do you want to take that? Sounds like it's more of an enrollment question.
Yep, 100%. So once you RSVP for orientation and complete the enrollment questionnaire, again, monitoring your shocker email, because a lot of times our first year advisors are going to need some sort of documentation and or questions and or clarifications. Once they have all the documents they need, based off your responses and your degree requirements, yes, we will build that initial schedule, but you'll get an email notification to your shocker email on how to view that schedule yourself. So you will log in, you will go in through your MyWSU portal, look at the course requirements, times, days, instructor, everything. And again, you'll have the option to either accept if everything looks good, or you can request changes and or ask any questions or clarifications to that initial schedule that was built. But again, I think, it's super important to make sure that make sure that you're going to that wichita.edu/majors and reviewing your major requirements. But yes, you 1000% have the option. You will be viewing your schedule and approving it days, times, everything based off of those enrollment questionnaire responses and your required degree requirements.
Great. Darren asked about a recording of this. We will be sending it out via email to all of the students who pre-registered for this event, and then we'll be posting it on our YouTube page for Wichita State Admissions, which you'll find at youtube.com/futureshocker. Should be up sometime tomorrow. Someone asked about, is there a way to meet with the doctor before the start of school to get their prescription transferred? My suggestion on that would be to follow up with your pharmacist and your physician or prescribing doctor and pick a pharmacy here locally and have that transferred. We do have student health services, and I know they'd be happy to help you with any questions that you may have that are more specific to your situation. Okay, I think we are covered. We're past 8. Appreciate everyone sticking around. I want to thank my colleagues from housing, from OneStop, from first year programs, and from financial aid for joining us. It's been a long day for all of them. They've had a busy week. Appreciate them staying with us as well. Thank you finally to my colleagues in the admissions office, Kaylin and Clint, for being on here tonight. Thanks everyone for joining us. Look forward to seeing you on campus this fall. Take care.
In the chat.